As we continue with remote learning, what I figured I'd provide are just some, real simple to implement strategies to ensure remote teaching success. The thing is, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We know what works from a pedagogical standpoint, but we also want to make sure that we're cognizant of the resources that we have as educators, but also the resources that our students have at home. So, point number one, keep sound instructional design at the forefront. It's so simple, yet it's something that we need to make sure we're cognizant of. When we think about good instructional design, are we challenging kids to think? Are we getting kids to apply their thinking in relevant and meaningful ways? Are we providing feedback? Are we incorporating elements such as choice and voice? So you know what? That pedagogy first construct is so important. Point number two, design experiences that align with the current scope and sequence for the marking period that you're in. The whole idea is learning, and learning means how do kids construct new knowledge? How do they apply? How do they demonstrate that they can do something that they couldn't do before? So we want to make sure that we're aligned with what the kids, in some sense, would be doing right now if they were in school face to face. Number three, develop a balance between synchronous and asynchronous learning. This is where the trickiness of digital equity comes into play. So we got to make sure that, even if we have one-to-one and there's a lot of Wi-Fi bandwidth available, that doesn't mean we have to go all in on tech. Find that balance, which is so important. Number four, use the same amount of interactive activities that you would in class. So as you think about if you're teaching a lesson or if you're providing feedback on a lesson, every 10 or 15 minutes or so, kids are going to be doing something. So in a remote teaching experience, we want to make sure that we're still having those interactive activities, not relying on an adaptive or personalized learning tool per se, but tasks that are created by our teachers. Number five, when we're delivering, facilitating content synchronously live, we want to make sure we can get it to kids very easy for them to participate, engage. So consider using a URL shortener. I like to use tinyurl or bit.ly. This way you can have your task, have that shortened link for the kids to go immediately onto it and respond. Number six, this is simple, but sometimes we forget about the chat features that are in Zoom, Google Meets, Hangouts, Blue Jeans, WebEx, whatever tool you might be using. So use those embedded chat features that are in the tool. I think I'm up to seven. Leverage an adaptive learning tool if your school or district has purchased one. This is a great way to get kids to go at their own path and at their own pace. So if you have an adaptive learning tool, make sure you're using it. Common examples are, iExcel, Read 180, Math 180, Waggle. You can even go on to assignments from Khan Academy. I'm not saying this is optimal, everybody, but they are there. Number eight, incorporate movement. Right now we're on behind a screen. We want to get our kids moving. So as you think about remote teaching, think about how you'll intentionally integrate opportunities to get your kids up and moving around. Number nine, create supplemental resources to go with your lesson. Don't just rely what's out there. Stuff's easy to get on Khan Academy and YouTube, but our teachers are the experts. They know the content. They know our kids. So think about creating supplemental resources, such as a digital handout that you could do on Google Docs or in Canvas. I think we're at nine, but who's keeping track? Provide flexible timelines for kids to complete work. That's one of the benefits of remote learning, everyone, is we can give kids more time that need it. So have those flexible deadlines. I think we're at 10. Set up video conference sessions for students who are confused so they can ask questions and get extra help. That's actually 12. Focus more on providing timely, actionable, and accurate feedback. I'm not saying don't grade. If you do grade, make sure it's fair, make sure it's realistic. But think about how you can give kids a series of assignments over a period of time and give them feedback, because kids want to know how well are they doing? Did they accomplish the task? What do they need to work on? And then finally, ensure that special ed accommodations are being met. Here's a fact. By IDEA, if students have an IEP, if you're delivering remote instruction, remote teaching, remote learning to kids in your district, then accommodations have to be met. All right. Those are my tips, everyone. They're just suggestions, strategies. I'm not saying they're all encompassing, but if you got more to share, please feel free to connect with me on Twitter. Thanks, everybody, and keep doing an amazing job. I'm in awe of what all of you are doing. I cannot thank you enough. Keep up the great work.